Welcome to our 5 on 5. You may know him as the music director of the Louisville Orchestra, but probably know him better for his local gig as music director and conductor of the Britt Festival Orchestra. I'm pleased to be joined today by Teddy Abrams. Teddy, good to see you back in the Valley. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's so wonderful to be back here. I love it. This is a very special place for me. We're so excited about the upcoming season of the Britt Orchestra.
Yeah, I believe it is your 9th summer season. A lot to be excited about. Before we get there, though, I do want to ask you about being honored as Musical America's 2022 Conductor of the Year. Congratulations. That's quite an honor. What was your first reaction?
Well, frankly, I was very surprised because most of the people on that list in the past are a good 50 years older than I am. So it was definitely a shock. It was not something I was expecting, but I really am deeply grateful and appreciative for the honor. And I think a lot of it has to do with the work that I've been trying to do both back at home in Louisville and here at my other home in the Rogue Valley, which is to approach everything with a creative and innovative mindset and lens, and to do right by our audiences by delivering them the most exciting creative music making that they could possibly experience.
Congratulations, it's very exciting. So you've been the music director and conductor for 9 years now, we're going on 9. What are you most proud of in that time? Is it Crater Lake? I mean, there's so many projects.
I really love so many things about what Britt has been able to accomplish, but perhaps even more than any one single project or one single performance, it's the community of musicians and audiences and people that love this organization that is so special. It's the reason our musicians come back year after year. It's why our audiences host musicians in their own homes. It's why they come to every single performance of the Britt Orchestra. There is nothing quite like it. There are many great music festivals, but there's only one Britt experience. And when you are hearing the kind of performances that we put on, which range from the greatest music of the past to many of the composers that are living right now that are widely regarded as some of the strongest, most inspiring voices, we've brought them to our stage. And that experience of being at one of the most beautiful venues on earth and hearing music that it sometimes is relaxing and beautiful, and it sometimes is stimulating, and sometimes is meant to ask questions and bring about conversation, but all of those things are encapsulated in the Britt experience. As I said, what we've been able to build in terms of a family and a community is something that I find actually the most important accomplishment, and the thing that we still continue to strive for. And everything else, all of the other very cool things, the Caroline Shaw project out in the woodlands with people walking through the woods and hearing our musicians in a world premiere, the Crater Lake experience, taking the whole orchestra up there, those are all great, but they come from that ethos and that sense of values about who we are and what the family of Britt really is.
It certainly has a lot going for it. We're going to take a quick commercial break, Teddy, then we're going to break down the whole season. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, we're here joined today by the music director and conductor of the Britt Festival Orchestra, Teddy Abrams. Teddy, COVID has obviously had a huge impact on the arts, but things improving right now and hoping for an excellent season. What are you most excited about?
Well, one important thing about the season is that we actually moved up the start time. So the season starts in mid-June, so we're just actually a couple months out. And we did that for a number of reasons, but we're hoping for a season of absolutely no smoke, knock on wood right now. But that means that something quite exciting is many new members of the orchestra are going to be coming to us. We have a big selection of new people that are going to be part of the Britt Orchestra. And what we've tried to put out there for the musicians and for our audiences is that spread of music from the past that you love, that you know very well, famous works like Beethoven's Third Symphony, the Eroica, Ravel's Bolero, that's always a favorite. People love hearing Bolero, Shostakovich's 10th Symphony, but also pair that with some of the greatest soloists of today, like the vocalist Devon Tynes, who has been making incredible news for his very creative programming, and it's actually relatively rare to hear him right now with orchestras because he's usually off doing massive operatic productions. So this is a big deal to get somebody like him, or the violinist Tessa Lark, who is extraordinary, a dear friend of mine, and just an absolute virtuoso violinist, and also then composers. And we've got some really special world premiere performances that you're going to get to experience this year.
I want to ask you about some of that. I believe the bookends, the start of the season, the end of the season, I believe, and you mentioned it was moving up mid-June to early July, July 3rd, I think, wrapping up the season. What are you most excited about on the start and end of the season?
So both of those programs include premieres that Britt has commissioned. So the very first one is to honor the 60th anniversary of the Britt Festival, and that is by a composer named Sebastian Chang. You might have actually seen Sebastian because he was part of our Composer-Conductor Fellowship a few years back, and that's where we take some of the greatest composers alive today and give them training as conductors of an orchestra, because most composers don't ever get the chance to conduct. So this is Sebastian's commission now as a composer, if you're following that whole line there. And Sebastian is writing a piano concerto to honor the Brit's 60th anniversary, and he's going to be playing that piano concerto. So that's on the opening night. Very, very special piece. I've already gotten the score. I think it's going to be a masterpiece for sure. And then to close the season is an incredible work by the composer Daftis Prieto, who's a Cuban-American composer, and what he has written is a piece for a full Cuban band with orchestra that's meant to be fully danceable. So it's like a salsa, you might call it the timba style of Cuban music, completely fused with orchestral music to create something that is at home in both worlds. And the whole idea is that the entire audience will get up and dance, and because I mean, you can't resist dancing once you hear this music. It's that powerful. And we're even considering doing some salsa lessons at the intermission so that you're fully prepared even if you've never done it before. But this is going to be a super fun program, and the band that's playing as the soloist is called People of Earth, and they're just as irresistible as the music itself.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of fun, a lot of choices for everybody. I should note tickets are on sale right now. Teddy, thank you so much for coming. It's great to see you as always.
Thank you very much for having me.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.